Hi everyone, welcome back to the Bonsai Lab. Today we're going to style this beautiful juniper, one of the most iconic species in bonsai. I'll walk you through my styling process, but because this is Bonsai Lab, we're also going to learn some science facts about junipers. So buckle up, it's going to be a fun and nerdy ride. Did you know that junipers have two types of foliage? One, the juvenile form and the mature form. We always see the mature form if the plant is healthy, but if some stress factors occur, such as over pruning or root issues, and the juvenile foliage might reappear. This is actually a survival mechanism. It's like the scale-like foliage opens up and there is more surface area for photosynthesis. So there again, that's nature's way of saying, whatever, I'll bring it on. I'll work my way through it. The first step in the styling process is always figuring out what your front's going to be. For that, we need to take a closer look to the nabari, figuring out what your best line is base to tip.
By opening up the bag and taking a closer look at the nabari, we can make a better decision about the front. We look at the base, look at where the widest point is and where the stability lies. And looking at this nabari, I think it's going to be a beautiful little tree.
And I believe that this is the best base. If we turn it around, this should be somewhere in between this and this, should be the best base. Because, first of all, we have our widest point here, more or less. And then you also have this beautiful Deadwood feature that I really want to accentuate. So I do think that this is the front. I do believe that this line is the best, first of all, because of the feature, because of all the grain that I created actually 2 years ago, and also because this base actually anchors this point of, I think it's even better if you do this, because then it goes over and it comes back. Also, this comes towards the viewer. So I made my decision. This is the best base. Yeah, no doubt. And definitely, one more thing. We are going to tilt it up slightly because this here is a horizontal line. This horizontal line is actually something that's going to draw attention. And if it draws attention, if it's a parallel line together with the edge of the pot, this is going to draw attention. You're going to look at it and it's going to take away from the beauty of the tree. So we're going to slightly angle this upwards in order to get rid of that line. And also it creates more interest and gives a little bit more movement. So that's what we're going to do.
First, I start cleaning the branches to make way for the wire and to get a better overall view of the tree. I immediately decided that I was not going to use the thick branch, but I was going to gin it and started working on the deadwood. Well, I wasn't really working on the deadwood that much. I was just stripping off the bark because I don't want to create artificial deadwood due to the fact that the branches are really not that thick. So if I start messing around with it, I'm just going to reduce it to a stump. And I just don't want to do that right now. I'm not even sure how far I'm going to go. So I just left it there after stripping the bark. Still wasn't sure about the design. Although I was cleaning, it wasn't popping into my mind. Normally it pops into my mind and I can see it immediately. But that just didn't happen this time. So I decided to just start with the first branch. Due to the thickness of the branch, I needed some rafia. So to do this, you need to soak it in water. So first of all, you just make a knot, put like 5 or 6 strings attached to each other, put it in water, and then after about a half an hour, it's soaked and ready to use. Take the raffia between your index finger and your thumb and you squeeze it. You make sure it's really flat. You need the flatness in order for it to be equally distributed around the branch, and that makes sure that the branch doesn't snap when you bend it. In order to anchor your raffia, you need to position the knot just a little bit to the front so you can wrap around it once in order to make sure that it's really tight. And then you can continue on moving up the branch in the direction of your wire. So I'm going to wire my branch in a clockwise direction. So your raffia also needs to be in a clockwise direction. So as you can see there, it is really tight, and also really pull the raffia. Make sure it's really tight. If you pull it to the back, you will also make sure that the moisture releases from the raffia, and when it dries, it will tighten up together. So making this into a very nice system. When you have this, you just come and cut away the knot, making sure you don't have any knobs or you don't have any inconsistencies in your raffia. As I already mentioned, you need to go clockwise, or I need to go clockwise because I'm going to wire the branch down clockwise, or at least that's what I thought. By the end of the raffia, I was thinking, this is actually just a really beautiful miniature tree, and I could reduce it more. I could use more deadwood. Maybe, just maybe, I'm going to cut more away than I originally planned. Nevertheless, I need to style the first branch first in order to get a better view of the tree. I'm using a preformed hook here. This is something that I use to anchor on deadwood, for instance, and go to a branch that I want to bend. And that is exactly what I'm doing here. I'm anchoring to the deadwood, and then I'm going to go to my branch that is wrapped around with raffia in order to do my first, most important bending. Always make sure that it's really nice and tight, that's a snug fit, in order to have a good anchoring point to give the stability for your bending, of course. After I had my first wire set up, I used another wire slightly thinner because my second branch is slightly thinner, also coming from the same anchor point over the thicker primary branch in order to give more wire to the primary branch. This way I can bend it more severely, and I wired the second branch as well. After wiring, I'm ready to bend. Now, first look at how the wire is positioned. If I go clockwise with my branch, I need to wire clockwise. If I go counterclockwise with my other branch, I need to go counterclockwise. Also, I have the same spacing in between my wire, the same angle in between my wire, and I try not to have any gaps. So first of all, I come to the center of the branch and then back out, so you imitate how light actually, or how the branch actually moves towards the light. Then I bend it upwards, and look at the piece of wire that I left there. This is actually a very good fulcrum. This is a very good lever in order to bend it back down. This creates movement into the branches, and it again imitates how it grows towards the light, and then something happens, or there's weight on the branch, or it needs to find its own space in the sun, for instance. Here I started wiring smaller branches in order to get more of a pad formation, just to see or get the feel of the tree that I wanted to make. And by doing so, I realized something that I was already feeling in my gut, that this tree is going to be a lot better if I just make a smaller tree and gin the heck out of this tree. So I made a very compact small tree. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave the gin this long. Maybe you guys can comment in the comment section below. But for now, I'm going to leave it because I have to, what they say is you have to live with the tree. So I'll check it out later. I'm using tubing here to protect my branch because I'm going to now, of course, I was going to wire it down. Now I'm going to pull the branch up slightly. I'm going to try to get as much movement upwards as I can in order to bring the foliage a little bit closer to the deadwood. Although it's not the perfect and ideal position, I can always use steam and a torch in order to bring the deadwood closer to the tree. So that might be something I'm going to do. Also, if you want to see that, comment in the comment section so that I know. Because if you guys say cut it off, then I'll think about it first. And if you guys say steam it, then I'll probably steam it. I'm not sure yet. I need to live with the tree. That's something that's very important. You guys should do that as well. Live with the tree. For the top, I just used a small branch. I twisted around in order to have some foliage for the top. I know this is a severe work. I was not expecting to do this, so I have to work with what I have. But if the tree tells you you need to cut more, then you need to cut more. At least if the tree can handle it. This tree can handle it. It came out of the ground and it was in a root bag. As I already mentioned, this tree is a Hulk. The vigor is perfect, so I was really able to do this. After a little bit of detail wiring, the tree was actually finished, or at least for now. Tree is never finished, but I'm pretty stoked with the design. I was not expecting to cut so much off the tree, but it's very healthy. It came out of the ground. This is going to make it, no doubt, and I'll make a lot of more tweaks because this is just a first design. You have to live with your trees, and therefore, yeah, I'm pretty happy. Still not sure what to do with the humongous gin. I do realize that the tree is going to grow, and if I leave it there, it might be something very special if the tree grows larger and larger. For now, it feels really awkward, but I'm really not sure what to do with it. Help me out, send a comment, please. Cool fact about juniper, they have little small scale-like foliage and they don't rely on large leaves for their photosynthesis. This is actually perfect for arid environments to retain water. So basically they're the camels of the bonsai world. So this is the final result. I hope you like it. I had to do a lot more than I thought I was gonna do, but you have to let the tree guide the dance. This is only the beginning of this tree's journey, but bonsai is a marathon and not a sprint. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe for more bonsai content, and let me know in the comment section if you want me to reduce this gin, because I'm really not sure. I think it might be a little bit too long. Yeah, and if you learned something today, just drop a science in the chat. See you next time.